Hey guys, today we'll be doing another discovery call of me closing a prospect on a fitness offer, and we'll be seeing how I uncover and make clear so much cost of pain and so much cost of inaction so clearly that gives this prospect just no choice other than to buy. Okay, so let's get into it.
I'm in Georgia right now.
Okay. Staying out of trouble over there?
Trying to.
Perfect, man. Cool. Awesome. So I can hear you. I can't see you. Is your webcam also working?
Yeah, I got.
Oh,
See me
yeah.
all right?
Yeah. Cool, man. Okay, look, yeah, I'm Simon. Nice to meet you. I work together with Hussein.
Mm-hmm.
All the call really is to find out a bit about, where you are, what you need help with, see if it's a fit. If it is, I'll tell you about how the coaching works. We can talk about potential next steps. If not, that's fine too, okay?
Okay.
Cool. So kind of what made you reach out? What's the biggest maybe challenge that you're facing right now with your fitness?
I guess it's more of just not seeing as much progression as I was hoping to.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not sure if it's like 100% based on my diet because I have definitely improved my diet over like the past like year, just trying to eat more healthy overall. Um,
Mm.
but also I know it's like sometimes it's like when I'm doing certain exercises, it's like I can't really feel that specific muscle that I'm trying to work.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like if I do bench, it's like I feel it in my arms, but not really my chest, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Got
So
it.
I'm just not really sure if it's like the form or diet.
Or a combination of both.
Yeah.
And what's got you saying that you're kind of not making progress right now? What's your progress been like the last 6 months?
Well, I think I started going to the gym like 10 months ago, but
Never assume, always get them to clarify and say in their words, going off what they're saying, what do they mean by that exactly in their case, right? What's got you saying you're making no progress? What does that look like to you?
I don't know. It feels like it's just been like very little progression. Like I still feel like I'm mostly the same. Like I have a little bit more strength, but it just feels like it's mostly the same as before I started.
What's been mostly the same, like the weights, your looks, the aesthetics? Again, using their words and clarifying, going deeper on what they said. Things have been looking the same. What exactly has been looking the same?
Yeah, I would say.
What's been your goal? Has your goal been to bulk up or cut down or?
So I feel like I'm kind of in that like skinny fat phase where it's like when people see me, they usually tell me that I'm skinny, but then it's like when you see yourself, it's like you're like, I do not look skinny, you know.
Wait, what do you mean? You don't feel skinny or you do feel skinny or how do you feel?
So I feel like when I see myself, it's like I feel like I'm a little bit chubby.
Okay.
Uh, I'm about like 150, but I don't have that much muscle to speak of.
Got
So
it. Where do you feel that chubbiness? Again, what they say, even deeper into that, and make it real, make them paint a picture. So chubby is vague, right? A lot of people feel chubby. It's not that real, it's not that deep yet. Where specifically do you feel that chubbiness, right? Get them to paint a picture and make it really real and really shit.
I guess it's just like a lack of like definition.
Hmm. In general?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And you can see he's still holding it back a bit with his answers here, right? Some people would have said right off the bat, it's love handles and it's back fat and it's fat rolls here and there. And with prospects that are very open and give you that answer immediately, and then it's like, okay, now it's like really clear exactly what the chubbiness is and made it very real. With him, I'm getting already the sense this is a prospect that is a bit definitely open, but he's still withholding a lot. But I can tell there's a lot of pain there, right? I'm just gonna still uncover it, and I will get to that. I'm super sick today, so I'll be coughing a bit. Don't mind that. Um, but yeah, so um, yeah, because I mean, some guys say it's the love handles or something, the guts.
Oh yeah.
For you specifically, anything like that, or just general lack of definition?
I mean, I do have like a little bit of love handles, but I would just say it's like I know my core is kind of weak. I try to strengthen it, but I just feel like it's a very slow progression.
Hmm. Okay. How much did you weigh when you started 10 months ago?
So
He said it's been a slow progression, so now I'm going to gather data on how slow it really has been, what the timeline is of his progress, and go from there. That'll also give me pain and things like making it clear that things haven't been working, etc. Right? That's also important to get the timeline of that progress, the data.
my it's kind of fluctuated a little bit. I think I was like around 160 if I remember correctly, or like 165, I believe. But I went through like some phases where it's like I had cut down to like at one point I was like 138, but I didn't really have muscle. It was more of just I was losing weight, and that's because I was doing like an excess amount of cardio like every day.
Hmm.
But I don't know if cardio is really something that you should do every day because I heard it's bad if you're trying to like gain muscle.
Well, you tell me, how did you look like when you were 138? How did you feel and look?
Mm, I mean, I didn't really feel so much like I was skinny fat. I just felt like I was more skinny, but I
Mm.
didn't feel like I had the lean muscle that I was going for. You know what I mean?
Did it not really help? And did it help with your feeling of chubbiness or your muscle definition?
I did feel like overall I was healthier, but it felt like I had less strength than I do like right now, for example.
Got it. So it didn't really fix your issue for you.
Exactly.
Also wasn't where you want to be.
Hmm.
You want to be bigger in terms of muscle mass. Essentially, you want to recomp, right? You want to burn body fat percentage, and you want to still
Hmm.
be putting on lean muscle mass at the same time,
Exactly.
right? Ideally. And what you did there with the 138 is just you only. It sounds like you only cut down body fat with
Yeah.
cardio, but didn't actually put on any muscle. Is that right?
Yeah. For the most part, yeah.
Got you. Okay. So since 10 months, you've kind of gone down, back up, right? In total,
Hmm.
general, no, yeah, you've gone down and up, but like in general, net difference is you've lost 15 pounds, but you feel like you haven't really put on any muscle.
Yeah. It's like maybe a little bit, but it's not much stronger.
Hmm. And for you, you suspect the problem is either diets or not training correctly or a mix of both,
Yeah.
correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Do you have any specific goal in mind where you would like to ideally be, where you would feel great and like you've achieved your goal?
Um, are you talking about like in terms of I have to think about this one a little bit. Are you talking about like in terms of like body weight, or you mean like aesthetically, or like? Because
Whatever's
my
most important to you. Let's say your ideal dream physique. What does that look like, right? Why do
Mhm.
you laugh?
Everybody's dream physique is Hussein, right?
Right, fair enough. I mean, then you can say Hussein, right? That's a
Mhm.
valid answer. Something to where you would be 100% perfect, satisfied
Mhm.
with.
I guess for now, just it would be gaining more muscle.
How much? Maybe. Any idea? Or it just it doesn't have to. If you don't have a specific goal, that's fine too. It can also be just general. Just in case you have a target, that's good to know. Okay.
I guess it was. I don't really have like a specific target in mind, but just being able to put on muscle without gaining, excess fat. So just gaining lean muscle.
Okay. And then your ideal physique would be looking like Hussein, right? But you're You notice how he's laughing there? Why is he doing that? Because that is his ideal goal, but he doesn't believe it's possible for himself. So he's kind of like laughing it off, right? He's not taking that goal seriously because he believes that he would never be able to achieve that. So I already know, pick up on that, and I see, okay, there's a limiting belief here, right, in terms of his real goal. So then he kind of chooses a safe goal of, yeah, I just want to kind of see some progress and put on a bit of muscle in this, right? But this dream physique for him seems unattainable, right? And that's already giving me an idea of what kind of guy this is and what kind of issues he's facing mentally, maybe, or what kind of mental blocks he's facing. So I'm gonna speak on that right now and dig into that a bit and see what's going on there. Laughing at that. So do you feel like that's not possible for you, or how do you feel about that?
I'm kind of somebody who everybody tells me I have almost no self confidence. So that's maybe a little bit why I just don't really believe in myself that much, even if I put in a lot of effort.
You believe that's out of the realm of possibility for you?
I mean, that sounds bad when I say it out loud, but I would like to at least get close or something similar.
What do you think is kind of different about you that would make it impossible for you?
Mm, I don't know. The only thing is,
I want to dig into that limiting belief a bit, right? To make sure that's not going to hold him back from taking action.
I guess sometimes it could be a little bit to consistently go to the gym. It can be a little bit difficult just because of like hours when it comes to work. Like maybe I just need to find a different gym, but like the gym I go to, it's typically only open from like 5 a.m. to 7 p.m.
So yeah, I mean, look, I don't know if you caught on that, but he answered the question of, what do you think's the difference between that and that, with some BS about the gyms being open at certain times, right? So complete nonsense answer, nothing to do with his actual limiting belief, but that's just telling me more and more that he's a bit deflecting right now, which is fine. I'm gonna, keep diving into it.
So that kind of
That
sucks.
that's not the reason that you feel like you're not gonna achieve Hussein's physique, right?
Hmm.
It's clearly deeper than that, man. Like
Hmm.
you can't tell me like, yeah, Hussein's physique, I'm laughing at that. I think it's out of my bounds just because my gym has a certain schedule, right? It's like for you, what do you think is mentally holding you back potentially, right? It's so important to catch prospects out on this BS, right? Because I mean, first of all, it's important for actually getting to the truth, which is important for the close, right? And not letting them roll over with rationalizations and BS, which will just also hold them back from the close as well. But also because it shows them, okay, fuck, this guy's actually listening and calling me out and noticing my BS, and he's not here to fuck around. Like, he's not just steamrolling through a script. He's not just trying to sell me on some BS. He's not actually, just jumping from question to question, getting service level stuff. Like, this guy is catching my BS, listening closely, and actually diving into my real situation. Holy fuck, this guy's a professional. He's trustworthy, and he's not here to fuck around. If anything, I know it's a tough question. I get.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know if I know how to answer that one.
I suppose for you, what's interesting now is like why, what's actually driving you to make a change?
Mostly just trying to be healthy overall and just, you know, it's mostly just health and like aesthetics basically. Because it's like most of my life, it's kind of I struggled to do physical activities just because I had like asthma, and it kind of kept me from doing like anything exerting. So I guess just trying to get in a better healthy spot overall.
So the asthma, any other health concerns that you've had or have thought of?
It's mostly that it doesn't really bother me when it comes to like lifting weights or anything like that, but like if I do cardio, for example, it's hard for me to do it for an extended period of time or like a really high intensity.
So why did you even do all that cardio?
It's mostly just that I was trying to lose the excess.
Also an important thing to catch, right? If he's telling me he has asthma and he doesn't like cardio, then what was driving him to do all that cardio? And his answer will tell me there's real pain. Because if he's doing something that he doesn't like and he's like worse off doing because of his asthma, but he's still doing it, then obviously something important is driving him there. And I want to get to the bottom of that.
Body fat.
Why? Why did you even
Do cardio, for example, it's hard for me to do it for an extended period of time or like a really high intensity.
so why did you even do all that cardio?
It's mostly just that I was trying to.
See, and even the way he's laughing is like, you know, I can see I'm onto it, right? Because he's laughing in kind of a shit, like, yeah, how do I say this? Like, he can feel I'm asking the right questions, right? That's why he's laughing, like, yeah, because, yeah, this is the reason.
Lose the excess body fat.
Why?
I mean, I was mostly just trying to get more lean because I didn't want to be overweight. Like a while back, like when I was still in high school, I was becoming kind of overweight. Like I think at one point, like towards the end of high school, I was like 190, I think, or around there.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to avoid gaining any more weight, so that's what I was trying to cut back as much as I could.
What was so bad about being 190?
Well, it was more of just like a mentality thing of I felt like I was becoming more and more lazy and like I didn't want to do anything. I just feel like that's a bad spot to be in because then it's like if you're lazy, you can't get anything done. And then
Mm-hmm.
I also noticed it's like I was having really bad back pain, so that's like something one reason I try to do like a little bit of core exercise, like even if it's just like a little bit of planking, push-ups every day, because it gets rid of like back pain.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that drove you in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's interesting is, I mean, what I'm curious about is, you're 160, you're 150 now.
Mm-hmm.
What about being 150 is not okay for you? Uh, a mistake would be to stay on that, that motivation for losing the 190 pounds, right? Oh, I found the pain there. No, no, no. That was the past and you already lost that weight. What's the pain now? Not in the past. That's why I just briefly touched on what his beginning motivations are, but that's just a starting point. I'm never gonna stay on that because it doesn't really matter. The point is what's his motivation now? What's his pain now, right? And always now, not like in the past. Because he's lost that weight, but what's the problem now, right? What don't you like being 150?
So it's not necessarily the weight;
It's not
it's just
necessarily
like
the weights, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll rephrase you're right. So I'll rephrase the question. What about being your current level of, let's call it skinny fats,
mm-hmm.
at around 150, and at your current body fat percentage is not right for you?
I guess it's I don't really like the way I look.
I caught myself out there quickly because my question the first time I phrased it was not an accurately phrased question because it wasn't about the weights, the number specifically, it's about how he looks, right? So I quickly caught myself there and I was like, yeah, you're right. I'll rephrase. What about the way that you look at 150 is a problem? That's the actual accurate question that you should be asking.
If that makes sense.
Hmm. Why not? What about it?
That's kind of a tough question for me. I guess it's just I want to improve overall, if that makes sense. I don't want to remain stagnant and then just be like, yeah, this is okay when I know I can improve.
Hmm. I still want to go deeper. So is that the feeling that you currently have? Is
Yeah,
one part of your life being stagnant?
yeah. I just
Wanting to improve is not deep enough.
I
And every time he gives that nervous laughter, it's just proof that I'm onto something.
feel like I don't want to settle for what I'm currently at. I want to improve and get better overall.
Mm-mm. Why don't you want to settle? The conversation is starting to heat up, right? It's starting to get a bit more uncomfortable for him, a bit more awkward for him, and that's the right direction to take it. You need to go into that discomfort, not move on to the next question, right? It's not enough yet. You have to go deeper.
I wouldn't really say that right now, in terms of like body fat or muscle mass, is something that would be ideal. I don't know. I'm kind of bad at speaking. Sorry about that.
What do you mean with not ideal?
I mean, it's more like how I was saying before, where it's like the aesthetics. Like I don't have really good muscle definition,
Hmm.
where it's like I don't know. I'm not really skinny or fat. I'm just kind of in between. And I want to kind of get out of that space and get a little bit more lean overall.
Understood. I'm still a bit unclear on.
See how he keeps circling around? Like, yeah, he keeps circling around just on the basic point, layer one of, yeah, it's because, I'm not happy with my muscle definition and I feel skinny fat. Right, but I want to go deeper than that. I want to go way deeper than that.
Why exactly? Well, the aesthetic.
I want to kind of get out of that space and get a little bit more lean overall.
Understood. I'm still a bit unclear on why exactly. Well, the aesthetics kind of holding you back in your life, do you think?
I'm not really sure what kind of answer you're looking for, sorry.
Hey, I'm not looking for any specific answer. I'm just curious on exactly all of your
Mhm.
motivations, because getting to learn all of your motivations deeply will help you actually make a shift and implement the coaching and make a big change. The difference between people that gain a couple pounds
Mm-hmm.
and people that, turn into an extremely crazy physique after years of hard work and discipline is often it's a mix of things, but one of the biggest factors is what's driving them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so having something that's anchoring and fueling you and driving you is important. And I'm kind of curious about that because if it's something strong,
Mm-hmm.
then use that to fuel you and make even bigger changes, right, than otherwise possible, if that makes sense.
What I just did there was, he said, I don't know what answer you're looking for. Okay, so that's telling me that, yeah, he doesn't know what answer to give me. He has a block from going from layer one to layer two, right? Going to deeper layers and telling me deeper emotional reasons. And so I pick up on that, and then what I do is I give context to why I'm asking this, right? First of all, I tell him I'm not looking for any specific answer. I'm curious, and I genuinely am curious, right? I genuinely am curious. You have to ask in a curious tone too. Then I give him context on why I'm asking this, and that context is also true, right? It's like the deeper we go, the more we uncover, the stronger internal commitment you'll actually have to change and implement all that change as well. Okay, so that context also kind of starts breaking the ice too on those deeper layers.
I guess the main thing I could say is, other than me trying to just get in a better, healthy space overall, is just wanting to have a physique that I can kind of be proud of and have confidence in.
Hmm.
There we go. So now it's layer two, confidence and being proud of his physique.
And is that not really the case right
With
now?
my current physique, I would say no. I feel self-conscious about my physique all the time.
There we go. Boom. Self-conscious about his physique all the time. Layer three.
Like all the time, or at what specific points do you feel it the most?
Um, I
So
guess
then, when exactly do you feel that? Right. Make it really real. When exactly? At which moments? Paint a picture. When was the last time? Stuff like that. Make it specific.
that's kind of the best way I can explain it is like, for example, I feel like my arm strength is one of the better things that have improved overall. I pretty much my whole life have had skinny arms, so that's one thing I feel like I could kind of keep improving upon.
Hmm.
Again, completely dodged the question. Had nothing to do with what I asked. I asked him when does he feel self-conscious specific. He, as a defense mechanism, completely goes into yeah, my arm strength has increased. Like it has nothing to do with my question. So again, I'm gonna gently remind him, call him out, and say that's cool. It wasn't my question though. I'm staying on that. I'm not moving on.
Um,
My question was though, kind of, which areas do you most feel the self-consciousness?
It's getting hard for me. It's getting uncomfortable. That's exactly the spot you gotta be in as a closer to make sure a close happens for a prospect that might otherwise get in his own way.
that one's kind of tricky. I don't know if it's really a specific area. It's kind of overall.
Overall?
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm just, some guys say, by the way, you're not alone in this, okay, first of all. Some guys say, when I look in the mirror, or when I take off my shirt at the beach, or
Hmm.
when I'm trying to date someone, or when I'm, out with friends, when I'm traveling, it can be like a mix, it can be any reasons. And yeah, just kind of curious if you have anything specific, because the more specific we are, the more we can kind of focus on all your goals, right?
Again, giving context to why I'm asking this.
Nothing here is cookie cutter. It's all going to be targeted and based on you. And Usain's going to push you to not just reach the next level in your fitness in general, but reach all your goals, right?
Right.
Like we had one guy come in and it was crazy. Like it was bad. This guy was literally refusing to go on trips that he was invited on because he would, have to go to a beach and didn't want to take his shirt off.
Mm-hmm.
So he was literally like missing out on travel and vacations and just generally going out because he felt like his shirt wasn't fitting him well. Literally, refusing to go out with friends. So that was like a really big problem, and that's what we fixed, right? With that in mind, that this really needs to be fixed. This is an urgent thing. It's not just about like your
Kind of a mixture of, context around the question, relatability, and even, throwing in a case study of someone who came in, also opened up to me and gave a specific problem that we then fixed for him, right?
general
All of those things kind of combined there.
fitness anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And like, looking 5 pounds better, it's like actually about removing something that's majorly holding you back in your life. And it doesn't even have to be that major for you. Okay, I'm not saying you're anywhere as bad as that. I'm just saying, if there's something there, then that's good to know, keep in mind, right? And use that towards as a goal, right? If you know what I mean. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
So for you, man, anything like specific there?
I think that's gonna like specifically fuel me. Um, I don't really go out that often, so it's kind of hard for me to say. But I guess my self confidence, just my lack of self confidence overall, it kind of stems from just me feeling like I'm. This is kind of with most of the stuff I do, but I always have this sense where I'm inferior to almost everybody.
Layer 4.
But I do feel like maybe that's kind of gotten in the way of me, like actually going out and meeting people or something.
Sense of inferiority keeping him from going out and meeting new people.
Do you think it has?
I would say so because I kind of try to avoid contact with people most of the time, just because I feel like I don't have enough self confidence.
Understood. I hear you.
Mm.
How many times a day do you think you hold yourself back in terms of social contact? If you were to put a number on it.
Getting specific.
It
On
kind
the
of
fourth layer.
depends. I don't know if I have an exact number, but I guess it's just like if I ever like go out on my own, it's like if I see somebody, I kind of just avoid talking to them because like I feel like I'm afraid of just getting judged.
Mm-hmm. Is that a multiple times a day thing or a daily thing or?
So it kind of depends because most of the time I just go to work, and then the gym, and that's about it. But I'd say like on just like a day to day, like if I was off and I was like running errands, I would say that would happen probably a few times, like maybe like 4 times, like a handful of times, I guess.
I'm getting really specific about this deep layer, like fourth layer, fifth layer type of stuff. Inferiority, scared of being judged by other people, okay? And then I'm gonna make this really clear what this is costing him in his life. Watch.
4 times a day. And since when have you kind of felt like this? How long have you been feeling this fear of judgment from others in regards to your own sense of self-worth that's connected to your physique?
It's kind of tricky to say because for when I was still in school, right? I think I kind of got bullied a lot because I was like back in elementary school, I was like the skinny kid. So eventually I ended up just going with homeschool. And then I feel like that kind of made it worse in a way because then I just kind of shut myself in and never like went out and experienced anything.
Mm-hmm. So since years already,
Yeah.
like 5 years.
I'm getting really specific here because watch what I'll do.
10 years.
Yeah, I would. It's kind of hard to say because back in like early school days, it's like it was mostly just that I was skinny. But now I feel like it's kind of worse because it's like it's just built up.
It's actually worse now.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. So, I mean, on average, 4 times a day, right? Where you're
Mhm.
kind of holding yourself back, whether it's actually creating an interaction or holding yourself back energetically or, fearing some kind of judgment from someone else.
Mhm.
That's like 1,460 times a year.
I literally opened up my calculator app and worked it out, right? On average, 4 times a day, he feels held back socially, either energetically or because he's self conscious, or, because he fears judgment and feels inferior. And I worked that out. That's 4 times a day, on average, 1,460 times, I believe, times a year.
Okay. Holding yourself back energetically or so, I mean, on average, 4 times a day, right? Where you're
Mhm.
kind of holding yourself back, whether it's actually creating an interaction or holding yourself back energetically or, fearing some kind of judgment from someone else.
Mhm.
That's like 1,460 times a year. Okay.
You said, damn.
And that's just 1 year. If it's, you know, 10 years, then it's obviously, 14,600 times in 10 years. Okay. And if you keep going like this, that's what you're looking at for the future then as well, right?
Mhm.
So holding yourself back socially and creating unnecessary mental suffering as well for yourself with kind of the notions that you have of them judging you and holding yourself back, that would then also go on for another 14,600 times for the next 10 years, right? If you look at it that way, right? And so who's responsible?
Do you feel how heavy the energy in this conversation just got? How heavy the air got? How heavy he got, right? You can't see his face, but this guy is feeling heaviness now, like, damn. Like, he's seeing that and feeling like, shit. That has never been made clear to him ever in his entire fucking life. And he has never gone this deep on this in his entire fucking life, right? To seeing the numbers. I made something abstract, right? Lack of self confidence. I went so deep into it that I literally worked out numbers on the cost and how much this is holding him back in his whole fucking life, right?
Responsibility is it at the end of the day to kind of 600 times for the next 10 years? The notions that you have of them judging you and holding yourself back, that would then also go on for another 14,600 times for the next 10 years, right? If you look at it that way, right? And so whose responsibility is it at the end of the day to kind of get this sorted out?
Me.
Okay. So how many days longer do you want to keep going, with a physique that you're not satisfied with, not knowing exactly what you're doing in the gym, not knowing exactly what you're doing with your nutrition, not maximizing your results, and actually, since 10 months, actually getting your physique to a point where you do feel confident and happy and satisfied with it, where it's not like holding you back in your day to day anymore.
You're asking about like how soon I want to change, or
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be honest, I don't really want to have the lack of self confidence and self worth any longer.
How much longer? Any longer? Not a day longer? Not a year
Yeah.
long? Why now for you?
So, I mean, I've tried working on it in the past, just like trying to do, more exercising, but I guess it's just not putting in enough, work.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm kind of bad at talking.
No worries, man. I hear you. And I appreciate your openness so far. End of the day, for me, what's most important is, do you feel like you've
For how heavy this conversation just got, like, this is the crux, right? Often there's a crux in a call where the conversation gets so fucking real and so deep. Like, a prospect has never talked about this and gone so deep ever, right? And this is what turns a fucking, if it's not a layup call, this crux is what turns, uh, yeah, sounds good, but I'm gonna think about it and then talk myself out of it because I'm holding myself back and, I'd rather just stay comfy. From that into a painful, right? Because of this depth and this clarity on how deep the rabbit hole goes in their pain and how much is holding them back and, the cost of their inaction, right? Going past all of their optimistic rationalizations and deflections and BS and all of this to arrive at such a deep crux of, oh my god, holy shit, this has been holding me back this much, and it's this many times, and it's actually this much fuckery, like this much pain, like holy shit, I need to do something about this, right? Like there's no other option than to fucking close.
And to the point where you are done with what you've been doing so far.
Sorry, I'm kind of bad at talking.
No worries, man. I hear you, and I appreciate your openness so far. End of the day,
Like he's gotten emotional and he's like holy shit right now, like shook. And this is what closing is, okay? And this is my responsibility to do this, to get prospects, because otherwise this is a prospect that would deflect and would self-sabotage most likely and get in his own way and not close, even if the pitch is great. But if the discovery didn't go this deep, it'd be like, yeah, sounds great, but I don't know, money's tight and I'll think about it. And he'll self-sabotage because he already has a bunch of limiting beliefs and confidence issues and stuff. So it's my responsibility to go so deep that there's no other option but to fucking close and change his life off of this phone call.
for me, what's most important is, do you feel like you've gotten to the point where you are done with what you've been doing so far in terms of your fitness and done with not doing everything in your power to maximize your physique, to maximize your fitness, to maximize then everything that comes with it in terms of your social life as well, your confidence, and all of that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like done as in not another day. Like this changes now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Commitment. Are you, with all of this, what we talked about, recap all of this pain and how much is holding you back, like we just saw, are you fucking done with what you've been doing, right? Are you done with the rationalizations? Are you done with your mindset and actions up to this point? Are you done? Are you wanting to make a change, or, said differently, how many days longer are you willing to allow this to be a reality and live like this, right? Are you done? How many days longer? Yes, not a day longer. Okay, here's how we fix it. Pitch, close.
Look, then I have no more questions, okay? I want to commend you for, even taking the step, right? You saw Hussein's story, you applied, you took action, okay, you got on this call, you got the opportunity for this, and, I ask you all these questions like I already mentioned for two reasons, okay? Firstly, to see if Hussein can definitely even help you. The good news is he can. Body recomposition is exactly what he specializes in, okay? So in terms of, burning belly fats, gaining muscle at the same time, Hussein is world class at that. So I'm sure you've seen his before and after pictures. I'm sure you've seen his competition photos, right? He
Yeah,
knows how
he's a huge motivation for me.
awesome. So that's the fit, okay? Secondly, to kind of see if you even have the internal commitment to make a change, right? Because some people say, yeah, they want to put on 5 pounds or lose 5 pounds, but whether it's now or in half a year, whatever, like with that kind of mindset, it's just you're not going to get the most growth that's possible for you, okay? So we went deep, right? We went very deep. And I think we really have something that's going to fuel you to actually make a huge shift in your life, okay? Not just take action on the coaching, but really implement it, stick with it, be consistent with it, and actually change the way you've been doing things for 10 months and see a different level that you haven't seen before, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All of this, what I just said, my transition here, just communicates in a very genuine way. The reason why I asked him all those deep questions that got him uncomfortable, right? The fact that I now know that, yes, can definitely help him with this because this is exactly, this offers speciality, so it is a fit, it will work. And also we went deep, so I can see you have the internal commitment to actually make a change, right? Reaffirming that commitment, reaffirming that action. And if that's you, this will work, right?
Cool. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Where do you want to go from here?
He says thank you then.
Do you want me to tell you a bit about how the coaching works?
So yeah, I want to know about like how.
There we go. Yeah, please tell me how the coaching works. Guys, raise your hand if you think this guy closed after that call, after that conversation, right? Yes. Like, we went so deep, there was no other option. That's what a good discovery looks like. Okay? So, if you had just, followed some basic script, just skip from question to question, gone only one layer instead of 4 or 5 layers, and just went along and glossed over his deflections and not caught on them and cut through them and showed him how well you're actually listening and that you're not going to take his BS, and build that authority, that trustworthiness, that professionalism, all of those things. This guy, even though he obviously does need it, it wouldn't have been deep enough for him to really commit. It would have been like, yeah, okay, it's good, but his mindset and his self-belief, it probably would have caused him to like put this off and like literally self-sabotage, because so many prospects do just self-sabotage. The offer can be as good as you want and as for you as no-brainer as it is, but prospects will just self-sabotage when faced with the prospect of having to pay money right now, and they'd rather just go back into the comfort of the situation, which is actually very bad and actually painful. It just hasn't been made clear enough for them, and you haven't gone deep enough to actually uncover that and put that on the table to remove all fucking chance of not taking action right now. Okay, if that makes sense. So guys, what you just saw there was a good example of a real good deep discovery. Okay? Not taking as service level reasons, but instead to keep digging, right? Keep digging, right? Giving context to my digging where needed, okay? To eventually break past that first layer, start going deeper, and going another four layers deeper, right? From, I want a bit more muscle definition, cool, to like all the way to my self-consciousness and fear of judgment from others literally holds me back socially and holds back my entire life and causes mental suffering at least 4 times a day, right? I got him to put literally a number on it, and then to quantify it, made it real, really real. Then I literally expanded it, calculated it out, what that means in a year, what that means in 10 years, what that means for the next 10 years, okay? The literal cost of his current situation and how bad it actually is, right? Like he's never ever thought about it before, right? Deeper than he's ever thought about it or been shown before, okay? And the cost of continuing that state, right? 4 layers deep. Do you guys think he expected that on on some fitness coaching call? On a little demo for a fitness coaching that probably otherwise would have been, way more expensive than he expected. So he would have gathered the info, then said he can't afford or needs to think about it, and then, self-sabotages and goes back to his comfortable bubble, right? Instead, it went so deep that it just left no option other than to take action now, okay? And he'll probably never ever forget this conversation, right? It's probably unlocked something in him that's like also made him more driven to take action on this now, okay? So this is what real closing looks like, okay? And this is my ethical responsibility, right? This is what, makes those non-layup calls that would otherwise have to think about it to actually close, okay? Going this deep and making things this real, getting to the fucking deep truth, right? Where it gets uncomfortable, but this is where the close is actually made. This is where you're actually doing your job as a closer, okay? So, beautiful discovery, and those are my thoughts on it. See you guys in the next one.